If anybody wants to unmute their mic and just say hello and mention your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, Duncan, Eugene, South Africa.
Hi, Eugene. Good to have you on the call.
Good to be here, thanks.
Hi, Robert. How are you? Good, good. Yes, I'm great, thanks. How are you? Anybody else just want to announce their name and just let everybody know where you're calling from just before we start?
Hi,
Evening,
Duncan.
Duncan.
It's Merlin, and I'm from London.
Hi, Merlin. Good to have you on.
It's Pearl, and I'm from London.
Hi. Good to have you.
Hello, this is Andy from Luton, England.
A lot from London tonight.
Hi, it's Roxana from London.
Hi, Roxana. Another one from London.
Hi, this is Robin from Las Vegas.
Hi, Robin. Good to have you on from Las Vegas. Wow.
Thank you.
Hi,
Anybody?
Duncan. Colin Simmons from Birmingham.
Colin Simmons from the Midlands. Good to have you on, Colin.
Good evening, Duncan. Lawson from Hull.
Hi, Lawson. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. Are you?
Great, thanks. Yes, I'm good. Hope
Good,
everybody's had a good weekend. There's still quite a few people coming on, so we'll just give it a few more minutes. If anybody else wants to say their name and just let everybody know where they're calling from just before we start.
Duncan, you got Gillian from South Africa.
Hi, Gillian. Do you want to unmute yourself? Say hello to everybody.
Hello, sir.
Hi, who's that? Ajit, is it?
Yes, Ajit from India, sir.
Hi, Ajit. Good to have you on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
How are you, sir?
Anybody else just want to announce their name and where they're calling from?
Adrian from Edinburgh, UK.
Hi, Adrian.
Hi.
Good selection of people from all over the world tonight. Good. Thanks, everybody, for giving up a Sunday night evening to come and listen to me. I'm sure you.
Hello, Duncan. It's Mel from Taunton.
Hi, Mel. Good to have you on.
Thank you.
Okay, we shall begin. Just bear with me a second. I'm going to share my screen and click record. Just before I do, I'm just going to put everybody on mute. 1 second. Let me go back to the meeting. Okay, I'm going to put everybody on mute. If you want to unmute yourself after the presentation, you are quite welcome to. That's what it's for. And let me just make sure it's recording. Okay, and if somebody could just unmute themselves and let me know you can see that screen, okay.
Yes, Duncan.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody. My name is Duncan Wood. I'm calling from North Wales. I'll give you a little bit about my background. I've been involved in multi-level marketing for quite a few years, but that led me to online marketing, which I've been doing now for probably 15, 20 odd years. I've had some great successes, some brilliant companies, but unfortunately a lot of them aren't with me today. I, like a lot of people, have been let down by company after company, and this last year, well, 2018, just a few months ago, was actually the worst year I've had for a long time. So much so, it put me in a critical position where I had more money going out than coming in, and I was looking for something, didn't know what. I was looking at all the businesses I was doing. Some of them were good, but they weren't bringing in enough income. I had, as I said, more money going out than coming in, and that can only go on for so long, and you just end up going into more and more debt. A very good friend of mine sent me a video. I did watch it. I shouldn't have watched it that night. It wasn't the best of days I'd had, and I ignored it. I had been involved in one other company before to do with crowdfunding, so that kind of put me off. But he did message me again a week later, and in that message he mentioned he'd been in this system for 16 days at the time and had received $56,000 in his bank, not in some company. So because of that, I had to call him. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know the ins and outs and everything about the system, how it worked, the company, the people behind it. what you started with, how it all worked. So I started that evening. After he answered all my questions, I donated $250, half to my sponsor, half to a guy called Joe, who happened to be in Canada, and I sent $29 to the company. And I had a phone call that night from Joe. I was having my tea at the time. He called me, which was very good of him. He thanked me for the donation I just sent to him, and he introduced himself and told me a little bit about himself. And it turns out Joe was the one that introduced John, and that told me one thing, because I started asking Joe then how much had he received, because he'd only been in the business exactly the same length of time as John, 16 days. He'd actually received slightly less than John, 42,000, but still fantastic amount of money to receive in 16 days. And it proved to me one thing, that the person who introduced you could, you could earn more than that person. So I joined that night. I went to bed, hadn't introduced anybody, hadn't spoken to anybody, woke up the next day, and I was one of the fortunate people, because lots of people do get donations before they've even recruited anybody. I received $250 in my bank. So I literally broke even. Now, I don't know about you, but I've not been in many businesses, I don't think I've been in any, to be honest, where I woke up the next day without even starting and broke even. And all I can say to you, listening, if you're listening for the first time tonight, this is without doubt the most amazing system I have ever seen. One, because you're not reliant on a company to pay you. You're not waiting for a company to withdraw your money from it. In fact, it is a system that anybody can do. So who is 50/50? What's it all about? I'm going to take you through a short presentation. One of the things that I didn't fully understand was what exactly is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding has been around for thousands of years. In fact, it was one of the, if you think about before we had banks, before we had mortgages, how would people build a house, buy a house? Well, what they did was people worked as a community, helped each other, and crowdfunding is a process of raising funds for any project or cause through a group of people working together. Now, because of the internet, crowdfunding is becoming widely used now as a system worldwide. Now, when I first started, the next day I called a friend. I mentioned to him about crowdfunding. The first thing he said to me was it was illegal. Well, he was wrong. I was correct. I knew I was, but I just wanted to make sure. So I phoned up a friend of mine who's a solicitor and asked him to tell me what he knew about crowdfunding. And the first thing he said to me is, what type of crowdfunding is it? Now, you can see on this slide here, there are four main types: loan-based, investment-based, donation-based, and prepayment or reward-based. Now, we are actually using what's called peer-to-peer crowdfunding, and that's what I told him. And he came back to me 2 days later. My friend was wrong, and I was totally right. Crowdfunding, peer-to-peer especially, is totally legal in every country in the world. My advice is don't listen to friends, especially when they're talking about something they know nothing about. Go and do your own research. You can see a site here, fca.org. You can go to that and find out all about crowdfunding and how it's totally legal in every country in the world. There's only certain types of crowdfunding, and that is investment crowdfunding that is regulated. So, why crowdfunding? Well, we all remember the last crash, the banking crisis, where the governments had to bail out the banks, and that was all due to mortgage-backed securitization, which basically failed and brought the whole system down. Well, if anybody thinks that that was the last banking crisis, think again. Go and do a bit of research, and you'll realize that it's going to happen again. This time, I think, even bigger than the last time. So the banking system is the problem. It's the banking system that's failing people. People have lost trust in the banks. You can go and, as I said, look at these various websites on these slides. You're going to hear more about what's going on in the banking system. So banks basically don't lend money like they used to. They manage securities and they create credit basically from thin air. imagine if there was a better way. Imagine there's an example if you're in debt, if you had no debt. You don't have to have debt. So what exactly is crowdfunding? Well, crowdfunding, as I said, is a system to generate revenue for whatever cause you want. And you'll notice a lot of companies now appearing on the internet. I've heard of a lot of these companies. Indiegogo I'd heard of, GoFundMe, but I actually thought they were loan companies. They're not. Actually, they're crowdfunding systems on the internet. You'll see more and more as the time goes by, because crowdfunding is growing at a phenomenal rate worldwide. Now, all these companies are generating revenue from crowdfunding. They're doing it for one reason, to make a profit. So I'm going to show you how 50/50 is different than these companies, and different in a big way. So let's just have a look at the size of the market. Fundly is a site on the internet. Again, you can go and look this up yourself. In 2017, $34 billion was donated through crowdfunding sites or systems. That's projected to grow to $300 billion by 2025. So ask yourself a question: how much of this market would you like? And this system, crowdfunding, is growing at a phenomenal rate. It's around about 160% growing a year. So it's an incredible time to get involved with it. And it's not just companies online. It's, well, PayPal, you've probably all heard of them, one of the largest or the largest payment provider in the world. For a company like PayPal to take on or to add into their sites worldwide a new system, crowdfunding, that is a major undertaking. Now, they will have done their own research. They're doing it for a reason, because it's a fast growing market. So PayPal are now allowing people to use their platform to raise funds for whatever cause or reason you might have. And social media is also latching on. Have a look around again. Facebook, we've all heard of Facebook. They now have fundraiser categories. This allows anybody in the world to donate to a cause, whatever that cause might be. So anybody can crowdfund. You don't have to be a big company to get donations. You don't need to be a charity. You do need to be 13 up to 18. You would need your parental permission. Anybody over 18, that's your decision. As I said before, it's because of technology now, the internet, social media. The one thing you do need nowadays is a phone or a computer, because that's what is projecting crowdfunding now to be one of the biggest ways of generating revenue. So who's behind 50/50? Well, it's this gentleman, David T. Rosen. He's Canadian. He's always been an entrepreneur. He failed at a couple of companies, but he did start a company 16 years ago, which became one of the most successful crowdfunding systems on the internet. It's a company called G1G4. As I said, it started in 2002, 16 years ago. It's still running to this day. David did have to sell the company out because of ill health. He was very ill at one time. He couldn't manage the company while he was ill, so he had to sell it. But that company is still running to this day. And as you can see on the slide, that company has 670,000 active members and has generated nearly 1 billion in donation. So David does have the experience of running a system like this. And 16 years ago, in 2002, we didn't have the internet like we have now. I mean, we had it, but it didn't have anything like the speed or the coverage worldwide like it does now. And we certainly didn't have social media or mobile phones, and especially the iPhone, because the iPhone or the mobile phone has changed the whole world and is changing things faster than we could ever imagine. So why this company? Well, imagine if you got involved in these companies when they first started, and all these companies that you're looking at have become some of the biggest companies in the world in a very, very short time relative to what we might call traditional companies. All these companies have one thing in common. They're all to do with technology, the internet, and what's going on in the world online. So imagine how wealthy you would be if you've got involved in any one of these companies on this website. That's what you're looking at today. Timing is everything. Imagine if you got involved in Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon, how wealthy would you be? So when did this company start? Well, David, as I said, sold the previous company, but he kept the software and the license and intended to launch a new company using the latest software and technology. And this was launched literally on October the 4th, 2018. So it's literally just over maybe 3.5 months old now. So this is right at the start, right at the beginning. So timing is everything in business. When I got started on the 23rd of October, there were only 500 people in this company. You'll see in a minute a slide later, which will tell you how many people now are involved. So 50/50 is the world's first crowdfunding system that allows you to receive half of everything that happens in your donation centers forever. And it's based on the world famous Mobius loop. The Mobius loop is basically a system where people you personally introduce follow you through, and they're tied to you and donate to you right the way through as long as you carry on receiving and donating. You'll keep people following you. And the System T technology, that is the most successful 2x2 follow me donation center in history. It is the one, I mean, I've seen so many different types of matrices and different types of multi-level marketing plans. This is without doubt the most successful system that any company could use. And 50/50 is a team crowdfunding system. That means it's not dependent on 100% of your own efforts. It's a group or a team effort. You benefit from above, from people you introduce, obviously from what you do, and people that you've introduced, what they do. So you can literally receive donations seconds after registering, and it is literally straight to your bank. 50/50, as I said, is a peer-to-peer team crowdfunding system. And that basically means there's no middleman, there's no company holding on to your money. There are other so-called competition companies whereby the donation goes to the company and you're reliant again on that company carrying on, and if anything happens to the company or the management, then you can't get your money out. This is a system where 100% of the donation gets assigned to a person's personal bank account. No money goes to the company, not a penny. The only money that goes to the company is either $19 or $29, which is a 6-month subscription. That is the only money that goes to the company. And that is the key difference here to any of the other crowdfunding systems that you saw previously on the previous slide, because they all make money out of crowdfunding. And how do they do that? They take a percentage of what is donated, and that's how they make the money. 100% of the donations in 50/50 go to the end user. So 50/50 provides you with an easy to navigate, totally automated dashboard that displays everything in real time and allows you to monitor your donations literally second by second. So how does it work? Well, first of all, you have to make a decision. My advice is, if you're going to get started, don't start if you haven't got the funds ready, because you need people who are honest and ethical, and you are agreeing to donate within a reasonable time, and the reasonable time is within 3, 4, 5, 6 hours at the most. So once you've made that decision, there's 3 simple steps you need to do. First of all, you need to send the license fee to the company, either the $19 or the $29, and then you need to become what's called an active donor. And an active donor is somebody that has donated to 2 people. One will generally be the sponsor, the person that introduced you, and the other one will be somebody that you will drop below. It could be a total stranger, somebody you've never met. You send them a donation. Once you've done that, your job really is to find 2 other people who need some money right now, or need some money for the future, or for whatever reason they might have. So now your job is to find 2 people and help those 2 people do exactly the same. Just help them find 2 people like you that want to generate reduce debt or generate revenue for a business, for health care, for whatever, children's education. It really does not matter. It really is up to you. And those 6 positions are running the same pattern that you'll see right the way through the various levels, which I'll run through in a second. So these are the basic 5 levels. This is where I started on the 23rd of October. I donated $250, split 50-50, so half, 125 went to my sponsor and half went to that person, Joe, I told you about. Now you have 6 positions below you, 2 directly below you and 4 below that. And you now have the potential to receive 6 donations at the first level, the 250 level, of 125. So in total, you could receive 750 for once that matrix is filled. And as I said, it can be yourself, it could be spill down from above, it could be people you've introduced, it doesn't matter. You will receive 6 times 125, a total of 750. Minus your 250 outlay, you are 500 up. Now, at any time, you can upgrade to the second level. You can't jump in at the 500 or the 1,000. You can't step up. You can come in at various levels, so you could have the 250 and the 500 and the 1,000. You could start on all 3, but everybody has to start at the, well, in this section, the 250 level. But at any time, you could upgrade to level 2, so you'd have level 1 and level 2 running at the same time. In level 2, the 500 level, you would donate $250 to 2 people, and then you are eligible then to receive 6 times $250, totaling 1,500. Again, you can see the same pattern, level 3, the 1,000 level. You would now receive 6 times 500 donations, totaling 3,000 in total once you fill the matrix. Level 4, 2,000, 1,000 a time times 6 is 6,000. And obviously level 5 is the top level, 4,000, 6 donations of 2,000 each year, getting very exciting now, and a total of 12,000. Now you can obviously have all just 1 level, you could have 2 levels, or you could have all 5 levels. If you've got all 5 levels, you are taking and receiving as many donations you can from each level. Now, quite recently, literally about a month ago now, I think it is, David opened up 3 other levels to allow people in third world countries, or if somebody really cannot afford $250, it does give them a chance now to start at a lower level. So here are the 50-50 fast levels. You can, if you want to, start at the 50-50 fast level. At this level, it's $19 for your subscription, and you can start at the $25 level, which again has 6 positions, and those 6 positions will allow you to receive donations of 6 times $12.50, so a total of $75 each time you cycle, each time you fill a matrix. You can do that as many times as you want. At any time, you can upgrade to the $50 level. At this level, you'll have 6 times $25, total at that level of $150, and level 3 in this 50-50 fast is 6 times $75 donations you would receive, a total of 450. So if you look at this slide now, there's the 8 levels altogether. You could start, as I said, at the 50-50 fast. You could start at the 250 level in the 50-50 crowdfunding, and you can always add the 50-50 fast, which is exactly what I did. I started at the 250 level, and then when they launched the 50-50 fast, I added the 3 other levels below. If you ask the question, how long would it take somebody to get to all 8 levels? And this is the one thing everybody needs to understand. This is when you register and you donate, it doesn't matter whether you start at the $25 level or the $250, that is the only money out of pocket that you will ever fund this system. From there on, it is totally self-funding. So if you are thinking, well, I donate $25 and then I'll have to find another $50, no, you won't. It is a completely self-funding system. You can literally move up to all 8 levels from starting at the $25, obviously at the $250 level, it is a lot faster. So you can have each level in operation simultaneously using the same login for both platforms. So it's the same login, same password for 50/50 Fast and 50/50 Crowdfunding. Both platforms will become one soon. I'm not quite sure when that'll be yet, but hopefully we will get an update soon. And all levels can pay out multiple times each day. Can you imagine, just as an example, if you received one, let's say, donation at the 4,000 level, that's 2,000. And let's say you had one 2,000 that month, and maybe you would receive quite often 2 or 3 of the other levels, sometimes in the same day. I've actually received multiple times the 250 in one day, and cycled as well multiple times in a day. So it is quite a simple system. I mentioned before about the company when I first started had 500 people in it. This slide here was dated on the 17th of the 12th, 2018, and on that day we had 14,000 members. I can tell you now that that figure has grown up to 20,000 members, and instead of 7 million, which was raised back in December, that is now 10 million, and it's probably far exceeded those figures now. So this company is growing fast, and you are right at the beginning of it. So hopefully that's helped. I'm going to finish there now and open up the mics for people. But just before I do, let me just stop sharing. I just want to run through with people the basic misunderstandings or misleading information that flies around, not only on the internet, but your friends and family often tell you things that are totally incorrect or wrong. And as I said to you, the first person I spoke to said to me crowdfunding was illegal. He was incorrect in his information. I can tell you now, go and do your own research. And when you understand that this is totally legal in every country in the world, there is not one country where you cannot use this system. And not only that, the matrix, which yes is a pyramid shape, I've had people say to me, oh, that's illegal. No, it's not. It is totally legal in every country in the world, crowdfunding and also that matrix. Now there's the other point. People often say, oh, that's a pyramid. Well, yes, it is a pyramid. Every business is a pyramid. Think about it. You know, every company has an owner, a CEO, and he is the top of that company pyramid. Everybody else below is unlikely to ever earn the income that the CEO of the company earns. So that's what I call not a brilliant pyramid. This is a system that is a pyramid shape. Yes, it is. But you could earn more than the person that introduced you. If I can just make sure everybody's on mute. If you have got your mic open and you've got noise in the background, if you wouldn't mind just muting yourself. So yes, it is a pyramid, but the only reason people say is that a pyramid, it's like when I first got involved with multi-level marketing. I actually thought it was illegal until I did my own research, and I went on the internet and I began to understand what was legal and what was illegal pyramid selling. And when you understand the difference, you will realize that there is a big difference between the two. There are very few what I call illegal pyramids. The crazy thing about it is the governments make up the laws. They make up a law that states that Ponzi is illegal. The crazy thing is the banking system, the monetary system we have, is a Ponzi. The pension fund that we have is a Ponzi. Think about it. How is the pensions paid out? It's only dependent on people paying into that pension. And if you're kind of my age, we are what's called the baby boomers. And the baby boomers now are in a situation where there's more of us than there are younger people paying into that pension fund. And that is exactly why Ponzi's are illegal. Now, this is so far removed from being a Ponzi because in a Ponzi, people pay into a company. We do not pay any money other than the license fee to the company. The donations go from one person directly to another. So how on earth could that be a Ponzi? So that's what I mean about get your facts right. Do not listen to what friends and family tell you, because often they are telling you things that are totally incorrect. The internet is another dangerous place. It's great, yes, but it's also a bad place because people can literally say anything they want. And often the people saying negative things about companies are often doing it for their own personal reasons. They're doing it because they advertise on the site. So yes, you know, if you go searching for negative online, you will find it. Try this as an example. Go and type in, is Mother Teresa a scam? And go and have a look at what people say about Mother Teresa. You will not believe what some people say about it. So yes, if you want to go looking for negative, yes, you can go and find it. My advice is speak to people that know about the industry or the system that you're getting involved with and understand it. And when you understand it, you will realize that this is totally ethical and honorable and will carry on for years and years. I don't think there's anything else I could cover there, but if anybody wants to unmute their mic, if anybody wants to remind me of something that I've forgotten about, you're welcome to unmute your mic. And if anybody wants to ask a question, please fire away. Now is your chance.
I've got a question.
Don't go on. Who was first?
Okay, I'll go for Gemstone.
Go ahead, thanks. Once you're in this system, how easy is it to come out?
Good question. Well, it's very easy because you're on your website, you can literally opt out at any time. Now, my question to you is, if a business or a system is making you profit and it's working, why would anybody want to stop it?
Because just like what you were just saying, there's been so much happened in the past. You gave your own journey of what's happened to you even last year. So I think people are skeptic. So if they're in, how easy is it to get out? That's all I want to know.
You can literally stop your account from being active in a second just by clicking a button, and be careful, don't go and try it, anybody. Because if you do, I'm afraid you've deleted your account. But it's that simple, it really is. You literally just stop donating. Literally, that is it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. You're not tied into a contract or anything. See, the good thing about this system, again, the only money I've ever outlaid was $250. That was it. I actually received that back. I was one of the lucky ones. I think the figures are, I think it's 75% of people will actually receive one donation without even introducing anybody. I'm not sure what the figures are on people like myself, who was lucky to receive 2 donations and literally broke even without even starting. So a lot of people, I mean, I've actually introduced one lady who donated. You have to donate before you can receive, but she did donate $250, and she actually received $750 without introducing anybody, and she decided to quit. That's your choice. I really don't understand why anybody would want to stop the tap that's feeding you. But it is everybody's choice. You can literally stop it whenever you want. Hope that helps.
Thank you. Yes, it did. Yeah, thanks. Okay. But it's a young company, only 3 months. So
yes,
yeah.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, you're right. The difference is, you know, if I look back to all the businesses I've been involved with, and sorry, I'm not sure, Gemstone, what's your first name?
Pearl.
Pearl, did you say?
Yes.
Hi, Pearl. The difference is most of the companies I've been involved with in the past have been companies like, as an example, I was involved in a Forex trading system. And you have to invest money into that system, and the company's got your money. I was involved in advertising. In fact, I was involved in a few of them. I'm not going to mention names, but one of them, unfortunately, was let down by the middle bank, the payment processor. They went into liquidation, owing the company $60 million. And unfortunately, my money's tied up, and it's gone. You might as well just forget it and move on, because you're not going to get anything back, because you're sitting there waiting for legal situations to go on. And I can tell you that's still going on, and I don't think there's any chance of anybody ever getting a penny out of it. So the biggest problem with most companies is the company is in control of your money. And if anything happens to that company, and I know they all sound good, they all did, that's why I joined them. They all sound wonderful when I first started. And then things happen out of the blue, things that you least expect. It could be badly managed, it could be they've run out of money, legislation changes, there's another one. And suddenly what looked good at the time suddenly isn't as good as it looked when you started. This is a system of crowdfunding that has been around for thousands of years. There's not a lot really that can change in the actual crowdfunding system. I mean, the company is separate, that is owned by one guy. But put it this way, if he, for whatever reason, failed in his company, then other companies will take on, and you can choose another company. The good thing about this, as I said, it's only one amount of money that you're ever likely to donate. And my advice is find a couple of people quickly and help those people find a few people, and you will be literally in what I call a profit situation very quickly.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else?
Duncan, can you hear me?
Hi, is that Joshua?
Yes.
Hi.
My question is, do you recommend what kind of payment processors are there for United States people?
Well, good question. I'm not from the States, so I don't really know. I mean, obviously, you know, your own personal bank wire is the first one. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm sure, I know they don't, they have different words for account numbers and sort codes and BIC numbers in America, but that's the first one. I don't know whether Colin's on this call, I think he is, but we've just tried, I've actually used TransferWise. In fact, my wife and I used that system because we wanted to go on holiday and we wanted to hire a beautiful villa, and it's quite a bit of money that we had to send out. And TransferWise was fantastic. So I've used that in the past, and TransferWise is brilliant. Very good system. So I know that works in the States. I know it's slightly different here because you have to give an address, but Colin and I have tested it out and it works flawlessly. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm here, Duncan. Just to add to that regard TransferWise, I'd highly recommend you get the link from your sponsor for TransferWise because it benefits both of you.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you get it from the back office, but I'd highly recommend you get it from your sponsor so that we actually support each other. If that makes sense.
Yeah, good point. Is there anything, Colin, anything we can recommend? Because we were playing around with it. We were transferring a little bit of money to each other. It worked fantastically. What were you saying about in America they needed to put an address?
Just in the States, they require that you have the recipient's address. What it can be the recipient's address, or it can be the bank address. So if everybody's using TransferWise, you'll realize that the bank is in New York. So you just write down the details of the bank details of TransferWise for New York, and you use that when you make a donation to somebody else in 50/50 through TransferWise, and that'll work beautifully. And once you do it once, you haven't got to put it in again either, by the way. So
yeah, my advice is get together with your sponsor and just play around with it. You know, just transfer, as Colin and I did, a few quid to each other and test it, and you'll soon get used to it. It's quite an easy system. It really is.
Duncan, one more question.
Yep. Fire away.
Do you guys have any information? You have any information on the credit card for the 1950/50 pass?
I don't. I mean, obviously we're waiting, and I'm waiting for an update from David. I have heard that it was going to be tonight. I don't know. I don't know whether there's anybody on this call that's heard anything, but we do need an update with regards to the situation with the credit card. My advice, my advice is to everybody, if you're introducing anybody brand new, I don't know why, but there seems to be a glitch as well with people trying to buy the token with Bitcoin when they're first registering. But there is no problem in, as an example, somebody that's already set up buying tokens themselves and providing the token for the new person. And what I would do, and this is what I do, is just get that new person that you're just registering to add the $29 or the $19 to the donation they're just about to send you, or they can pay you back in Bitcoin if they have it. And obviously for the ones that don't, you could use PayPal as an example or any other method. But it's quite easy to buy those tokens. They work well and it's pretty quick. There is a slight delay with the Bitcoin blockchain, but when you buy them in the back office, I think it's number 7 on your dashboard, and they'll actually appear, just so you know, in your back office, in your dashboard underneath 7, it says there, and you'll actually see the token there, and you can pass that on to anybody. So I hope that helps, Joshua. Okay. Sorry?
Yes. That helps. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, this is Andrew from England,
Hi,
from
Andrew.
London. Hi. I just heard you mention about crypto, about Bitcoin. Can it be paid out in cryptocurrency? I'm with Wirex.
When you say paid out, you mean a donation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly can. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, as long as obviously the person you're donating to, and you'll see those people and the various options they put in. And just while we're talking about that, the more options you give people, the easier it is for people to donate to you. So give people plenty of options. You know, I offer people, for UK people, they can pay sterling direct to my bank. For international, I put international bank wire. Then I've got Bitcoin as an example. And just while we're talking about Bitcoin, for anybody that is not familiar with Bitcoin or doesn't even understand it, a Wirex card is good. I'm not sure what countries Wirex operates in, but you can go to...
Sorry.
Sorry?
In Europe. I think it's only in Europe so far.
Okay, but Wirex is good. The reason why I'm saying that is you don't even need to understand about Bitcoin. What it does, it's just like an online bank, so you can have payments made in sterling, dollars, or most currencies, but you can also receive Bitcoin. Now, you can actually exchange that Bitcoin into sterling or dollars, no transaction costs online in your own account. So that's what's good about it. So if there's anybody on this call that hasn't got their heads around Bitcoin, get yourself a Wirex card or a Wirex account. Once your account's open, you also get a card. I'm just looking around to see if my card's here. It's not here. But you can literally exchange Bitcoin into any currency, and they even send you a Visa card, and you can go and withdraw it out in cash at a cash machine, or you can use that card in any restaurants, petrol, whatever. There's a few questions here on...
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I am new to this crowdfunding thing. I'm originally from Jamaica.
Yep.
Does it work? I don't know if Colin is from Jamaica. Does it work like a partner? How exactly you donate, but when I'm not so sure how it really works.
Well,
what a partner is.
Put it this way: a partner. Well, when I say a partner, you can introduce anybody anywhere in the world.
No, I know what you mean by that, Duncan.
Yeah.
Partner is a system. It's a crowdfunding system that comes from Jamaica. Andrew, this is very, very similar, but done on a global scale.
Okay, I understand it now.
So we are one community, all donating to each other.
Okay, so when you donate, and then when the partner goes around, you get paid, and then the other person and the other person.
Well, it's actually a lot easier than that, Andrew. I mean, As Duncan has said, that in your donation center, there's only 6 people. So you're going to receive donations from those 6 people, and then you'll start a brand new donation center again after that.
Okay, I understand now. Okay.
So it's a lot simpler than what you understand as a partner.
Okay, so I have to keep inviting people after one thing finishes?
Well, and Andrew, here's the key now. This is where a lot of people misunderstand this. There's 6 positions directly below you. Those positions could be filled from the person that introduced you, from yourself, or it could be somebody you've introduced and they introduced somebody. So those 6 positions can fill quite quickly. Now, once that matrix is filled, it's ended. Now, here's the key point. And a lot of people will not, if they give up before they've seen this, they'll never understand what they've just missed. Because the Mobius loop, here's the key. The people that you've personally introduced, so imagine now you're on your matrix, okay? Let's say as an example, you've filled 4 positions, however they've been filled. It could be from your sponsor, it could be from you, it could be from somebody you've introduced that's introduced a couple. Either way, you've got 2 positions left. Now, let's say today you fill those two positions and your matrix is now ended. Now, one of the people that you've personally introduced, they will still be finishing their matrix. They're just 1 position in your matrix. So imagine a stack of cards and 1 card's behind the other. The person you've sponsored's on their card behind your card. You can't see them. Now, your goal is to go and help them fill their matrix, because as soon as you do, when you've opened your new matrix, that person or any people that you've personally introduced now suddenly appear back in your new matrix. And what do they have to do again? They have to donate to you again. And that's where anybody that hasn't filled a matrix yet, they haven't seen that Mobius loop work. I can tell you, once you see that happening, it's like a light bulb moment. It really is. It's amazing. You suddenly realize you don't need to recruit the world.
Okay.
You just need a handful of good people who consistently keep going. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just while we're on, there's a message here on the chat from Helga in Spain. She said, David talked about a template system members would be able to use to showcase their projects. Yes, I know he did say that. And that's why we need an update from him, because there's a few things that he's mentioned and we need to know when they are going to be launched. I can't give you the answer on that until we have an update from him. Andrew, and you get 2 people eventually. Well, I think that's the same question as we've just answered, Andrew, unless it's
yes.
Wirex not available in most of USA. Okay, thanks for that, Gary. Uphold works well in the USA. That's what Gary's just told everybody. Okay, yeah. Colin said the same. Okay, there is an 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time webinar that David hosts tonight, every Sunday. Okay, so 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I think, if I'm right, that is 1 o'clock in the morning in the UK, I think. Don't quote me on that. If somebody could check that while we're on the call, we'll see if David is on the call tonight.
Duncan?
Yes?
I think that's 2 o'clock in the morning UK time and 4 o'clock South African time.
Oh, is it? Okay. Is anybody going to be up tonight at 2 o'clock? If
not me. It's not me.
I don't think I will be. If it was 1 o'clock, I might say, yeah, I'll stay up for it. But anyway, I know it will be recorded, and we will get a copy so that everybody can have a listen into what that is about. Any other questions before we finish for the night? No. Andrew. Oh, and Andrew wants Andrew wants you to call. Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for giving up your Sunday night. I'm sure you've got better things to do on a Sunday night than listen to me all night. So I thank you for your support. Thank you for attending. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and take some serious action. My bit of advice to everybody is take some serious action, massive action when you start, and you need to be consistent. Consistent and persistent is the key. But keep it simple. Do not try and explain it to people. If anybody wants to know what to say and what not to say, if you're involved in or if you're attached to the Facebook group, if you go to the file section there, you'll see a script on what to say and what not to say. It's very important to learn what to say and especially what not to say, because the biggest problem is most people try and explain it to people. And in actual fact, the more people understand it, the more dangerous they become, because they get to the point where they're an expert, and then what do? They vomit all the information on their best friend. So I hope that helps. Thanks very much, everybody. If everybody wants to say good night, I'll unmute everybody. Thanks for attending.
Thanks, good, Duncan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Goodbye.